think it's, it's going in the direction where we're trying to go, which is, it's tough to change the current climate and how crew are hired in this industry, right?
Yeah.
People have been doing it this way forever, and if you're going to make a change, it's also going to take almost that long, right? It's like it's like when you get sick, you get a cold, you bounce back.
Yeah.
Break an arm, it's going to take a little longer. Sometimes these chronic conditions, just as long as it took to have that onset, for those things to go away, it takes almost the same amount of time. It's very similar, and I would say there just haven't been any really good options presented, or they would have been, or they would have been taken up, right? So it has to be something that's going to be groundbreaking, monumental, and I don't think we've seen that yet. We're trying. I think my goal, or what would make me happy, even above money, would be...
Welcome to the Yacht Captain Investor Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Kidd, where every week we dive deep into conversations with real estate pros, business owners, and maritime professionals about their mindset and journey to success. Please help support us on our journey and our channel by liking, subscribing, and commenting below so we can help you in your journey to success. How you doing today? Scott Kidd, the Yacht Captain Investor. I have a friend of mine here today, Gary Kyle. He's gone from software to yacht owner to real estate, and has combined all three. So how you doing today, Gary?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Scott?
Oh, very good. Thanks for being here. For people that don't know who you are, just tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to give you the 1 minute version because I've kind of done a lot.
Yeah.
How it relates to what we're talking about. Always interested in boats. Started buying a 22-foot boat, put on a lake here in the Dallas area, just to see if the kids liked it. They ended up loving it. So we bought a 33-foot boat, ended up buying a ranch. They wanted to go out to the ranch and shoot guns all the time and do other things. Didn't want to go to the boat anymore. So I said, well, okay, I'll fix that. Let's move the boat to Florida, to Fort Lauderdale, to the ocean. So kind of tricked them a little bit. And they're like, yeah, let's go see the ocean. So we traveled 4 or 5 years on the 51-foot all over the Bahamas, had a greit time, ended up getting an 82-foot Princess with crew. So I didn't have to do all the work, oil changes, messing with strainers, all that stuff. Everyone had a vacation except for me, is what I like to say. But until then, until we got crew, that was the case. But then it was great. And so I had worked myself into that position because I created software for hospitals. And after about 7 or 8 years, we took that software product, which is based on compliance, to just about 95% of every hospital. It was in 95% of all hospitals, and it is probably in more now, but always had a knack for software. And so once we had a boat and I was trying to find crew, I thought, well, there's not really a lot of good options out here to find crew, at least consistently. So I decided to take my software skills and build a software platform for crew, to find crew. So almost like a LinkedIn or a ZipRecruiter or an Indeed, where the software sits in the middle. Captains like yourself need crew. They'll log on, put in what they need. People will apply, that kind of thing. So here we are today. I'm still actively involved with that company called Meridian, and helping captains like yourselves or HODs, find crew. So that's my story.
Well, I know I've used the Meridian software platform quite a bit because it has the most amount of people, and and it's actually combined a lot of different facets of it. And I think yours is quite unique because you've made it to where you've included a lot of other crew agencies so that they all kind of compete for the job or for placing the crew, which I thought was kind of interesting because a lot of times in the past when you call one and they find out you're talking to the other one, they say, well, you're working with them, so I said, well, hang on a second here, I need somebody in like 24 hours, so I'm not cutting out anybody. It's first come, first serve. I said, don't be afraid of a little competition.
That's right. If you have the
Yeah,
right people, then
yeah,
you'll
you know,
win.
and so I like that that was pretty innovative because as you noticed, you when you got the software platform, you probably realized that it's in the yachts and stuff, we're pretty far behind as far as tech and stuff like that. I mean, we use a lot of tech on the boats and stuff, but as far as like implementing the human resources side of it and finding crew and stuff, it's come a long way in the last 10 years, but it's still got a long way to go to where you can optimize, finding crew. Because I know I personally go to my personal network first, and because we have to live with these people. I really want to have someone there that has a personal relationship with that person, because if not, then then you're going through a lot of different growing phases when that first person first gets there, because they might look good on paper, but they might have a personality conflict with this person, that person. It can get kind of messy in a hurry, especially and you probably went through it as well with your boat and everything and your crew. And I remember you had pretty good crew on there, but also because you kind of set up a lot of systems as an owner, which a lot of people, when they buy the boat, they don't necessarily think through what their expectations of the crew are. And you, from what I noticed, I remember you made that pretty clear what your intentions were and what you wanted. And that's a hard part for people like crew as myself, but there's that learning curve.
Yeah, you have to be intentional about it. And crew is you're talking about expenses for a yacht.
Hmm.
It's a big expense, and a difference of 5 or 10% of what you allocate for crew pay can make a big difference in what you get. And as far as how it affects the crew too. So one thing that you just touched on about the software and how you like to hire from kind of word of mouth, people that you trust or whatever, with recent things, negative things that have happened in our industry. I think
Yes.
the whole industry thinking about how we can do things better, and that's always going on in my mind too. This is a passion project for me, honestly. I want to leave the industry with something better than with what it started. The competition isn't too hard,
Yeah.
I must say, because nothing has really changed in the last 20 years. I mean, recruiters are still doing what they do. It's still old
Yeah.
technology, so the hurdle isn't very high. But we're thinking about starting a new product that takes into account all those things. Hiring people that you trust or like, or that were referred, that are vetted from the people that right? So you
Hmm.
don't have to worry about blacklist or red flag list.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the only ones that percolate through are the ones that are being highly recommended by the people that you know and like and trust. So I won't get into too much of that, but yeah, we're always looking for
Yeah.
ways to make it better.
Yeah, and I know you'll probably roll out something like that, and we discussed it briefly. And I think it was again very innovative because it build on those social networks and stuff like that, and those and I think that's very important, because like if I know someone, another captain that's a friend of mine or another chief stew or something, and we're looking for a particular position, and I speak to them, what do you think about this person? If they say give me a thumbs up or down, that weighs heavily into my decision. Also, the thing that weighs heavily in is the timeline. you know, will this person be okay for the 2 weeks or the 5 weeks, or we need somebody permanent? And that's what a lot of times is a tough hurdle for firing, and firing crews. That timeline, we need somebody in 24 hours because so and so got sick or somebody got injured, God forbid, or something like that. So, I mean, to have a batch of already pre-vetted people, that's huge.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that is where it's going as far as technology for our industry. Yeah, and it's has a little bit of AI in it. And I'm very curious to how not just the hiring space is going to be, but other areas inside of our industry, how those things are going to evolve with AI. I think we're going to see a lot of changes in the next 5 years that maybe even make how we do things now and everything, even how you do your PM, even how you do
Yeah.
any type of really anything yachting related is probably going to be touched by AI and some sort. Who knows? You might have a robot on your boat in
Well,
15 years because it's less expensive than having a crew.
well,
Do things.
they've had those boats, those yachts that have been able to drive around on, with minimal crew and go all the way around the world on their own bottom without, actually dock the boat. And I think that was maybe Mirabella 5. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's one of those larger sailboats, and the guy that owned it was a software guy and tech guy, and he wanted it to make it that way. And I have to do some research. I don't want to tell anybody the wrong boat or anything, but I know it's possible. I mean, we're already having driverless cars, we're going to have driverless boats, and people get a little afraid of, well, our jobs are going to go and this and that. And I was like, well, you still need someone to manage it and manage all the PM and all that stuff also. So, the managing of the whole vessel and stuff will go away, and the personal, I think what's going to become more and more valuable in AI everywhere is just the human interaction, because that's more and more getting lost in the shuffle. People are a little less, the social norms are kind of waning a little bit, and people are not as, I don't want to say, for lack of a better word, they're not as, I don't want to say maybe socially inept. Like when we grew up, there was certain things you had to do and certain social mores and stuff. And I've seen that kind of fall off a little bit. And I think when you make genuine human connections, that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Like for me, like when we moved to Jensen Beach, when the neighbor came over and said hello to me, I was like shocked. I was like, what does this guy want? I was like, wait, and then they were like going to cook us dinner because we were moving in or whatever. And I was like, or they were going to bring over some food or something like that. And I was like, what does this guy want? And then I'm like, oh, wait, he's the neighbor. he's being nice and he's being a neighbor.
Right.
I was like, I went inside and I'm like, this is amazing. I love it here. So I think that will never go away. And also, like, as an owner, you want somebody that like, and trust. I would imagine in that position that's managing that yacht and everything else. Because, what would be your take on that? Do you think that's going to go away, or do you think it's going to be more of a human position still?
No, I think you're exactly right. Honestly, I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. We are, like I said, we are going to see some crazy changes in the next 5 to 10 years. But what's going to, keep it going from, one to the other without any human intervention? I think, like anything else, we're still in the driver's seat. We'll decide on what's too much and what's not. So it might be okay to have a robot, doing some things on your boat.
Yeah.
But to do some high functioning type stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe if they're not, maybe it's just like, it just needs to be a human connection on the boat. So, it's just going to balance.
Yeah, a robot with a screen of somebody else, somebody in Pakistan or somewhere. What would you like to do today, sir? No, but I mean, I just thought of this just now. Like, if you had someone where the boat would go wherever you wanted and stuff, and you're there with your family, that'd be kind of interesting. But the maintenance and everything, you wouldn't have any of the human interaction that I know we do. Like, hey, what are the places? Like, to me, it's kind of half the fun for me is like when you take somebody that they've never been before and they're like, well, what do we do here? Well, here we made the sheet, this, and this. What are your likes? And then you see them kind of, you living the place new through their eyes, which I think is really fun. And that kind of, you get that connection there because you're getting, I have the opportunity to show them a great time and what this place is all about. And that would be, for me, like if I was chartering the boat and there was no one there and it was just going, like on the rails to all these places, it would be kind of weird. I don't know if I would like it or not, but I think I'm a big proponent of, I'm getting a driverless car. I'm getting a boat captain. I'm getting a pilot. I'm sitting in the back. I'm sleeping or whatever, or eating or whatever, and I don't have to worry about where I'm going next.
Right,
or somebody else deal with that for a change, because certain people in my family are like, oh no, I'd hate to have a driverless car. I like driving. I was like, I do not like. I mean, it's not like I live somewhere where it's like a Formula One track out, outside, or it's fun to drive. I'm driving around in Florida, which it's nice driving by the beach, but if I was sitting in the back and looking out the window, it's even better.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily have to do it, but explain a little bit about how you made that progression to buying, getting into buying the crew software and platform, and just kind of where you think it's going in the next few stages, because we are pretty far behind, and any implementation would be helpful.
Yeah, I think it's going in the direction where we're trying to go, which is, it's it's tough to change the current climate and
Mhm.
how crew are hired in this industry, right?
Yeah,
People have been doing it this way forever, and if you're going to make a change, it's also going to take almost that long, right? It's like
yeah,
anything else. It's like when you get
yeah,
sick, you get a cold, you bounce back.
yeah,
Break an arm, yeah, it's going to take a little longer.
yeah,
Sometimes these chronic conditions, just as long as it took to have that onset, for those things to go away, it takes almost the same amount of time. It's very similar. Um, and I would say, like, there just haven't been any really good options
hmm,
presented, or they would have been, or they
yeah,
would have been taken up, right? So it has to be something that's going to be groundbreaking, monumental, and I don't think we've seen that yet. We're trying. I think my goal, or what would make me happy, even above money, would be have something that gives you guys the ability to find amazing crew quickly,
hmm,
right? That have been vetted. You don't have to worry about them. They have a track record. You can see that
yeah,
track record, that kind of thing. So that's what we're thinking about every single day. And I think this new product, might deliver on that. We'll see. But yeah,
yeah,
as far as this space, it's gonna be fine. Things are gonna keep progressing. Like I said, AI is
yeah,
coming into play now, and it's gonna take its part and shape things, I think, better for the future. So, but yeah, for my focus now, honestly, is it's, like I said, a passion project for me. But where I spend probably most of my time is in the real estate space. So I tasked my partners about 8, 9 years ago. I have some good lieutenants that kind of run each individual business. Then I tasked them with, okay, guys, I need something that would be a moonshot. If we hit it, great. It's going to be super high risk, but I mean, maybe it turns into $1 billion or something.
yeah, yeah,
But most of my eggs are in a
yeah,
basket that's super low risk, and those revolve around real estate, right? Low
yeah.
risk, good solid returns. Not trying, if I can get a single and a double every single time, I'm happy, right? So
Well,
that's what I'm
that's
spending most of my time, paying
yeah.
attention.
Those are the best ones, because same, I'm on the same page with that, because we're doing a development, and we're launching a fund for that, and we're in Dallas. We love the Dallas market, and so let's unwrap that a little bit. So what kind of asset classes are you guys focusing on these days that are achieving those low risk, steady, slow and steady returns over the long haul?
Yeah, good question. It wasn't something that we just set on a diagram and filtered down to best
Yeah,
best place to land. It
yeah,
happened by accident. We were starting a bunch of businesses in the beginning, and one of them it was called Tear Parts, and we were taking cars, tearing them apart, and selling those parts online to individuals, but mainly to like dealerships. When they're fixing cars, they buy parts from
hmm,
us. Long story short, the industry that didn't work out very well. I mean, after about 4 or 5 years, I mean, it was making a little bit of money, but not enough to really. I mean, it was just a hobby essentially. What we'd say.
yeah, yeah,
So we shut it down, and we took the land. We were on like 20 acres. We took the land and sold it for like, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe like 4.5x.
wow.
And this is like 4, 5, 6 years, right? We bought the land. By the time we sold it, we did great. We paid all our investors back, and they're like, "Well, what else can we do?" We're like, "Well, go find some more land."
More land.
So we fell into that. So
Yeah.
property right next door, we bought 100 acres, and we did the same thing. And then now we found our niche, kind of our bread and butter, what we like to do now, which is we'll find land that's in a certain geographical area, so that we can build on right away. So that's our niche, and we'll let investors come in if you just want to, come in while we entitle the land, tie it up, do all the civils, figure out what the best, highest, and best use is going to be. we'll do that. And then if you want to get out when we go to the next phase, which is, ready to, turn dirt, start building things, or you can be part of that process. So most of them, do come along for the full ride, which is even when, and we just did this recently, we bundled up about two of our light industrial buildings. Like I think there was 12 people leasing our places. We rolled them all up, and a company came in and said, "Hey, can we buy it?" Absolutely. So it's $26 million. We closed that one a couple months ago, and then we just sold another building for like 14, 15 million. So what we do is we'll let you come in if you just want to invest in the first part, second part, or third part, almost like a fund. So
Mm-hmm.
you realize that it's a 4 to 5, 6 year term.
Yeah.
You want to stick it out for that, and then get your return. That's great, and then we'll do it again. But that's what we're doing. So when we build these, we'll typically try to lease them for a year, or maybe have someone do a lease type term where they can buy in the end. But what we want to do is take advantage of the long-term capital gain, so we're not hit with the short-term capital.
Oh, yeah.
So if we hold
Very
it for a year, that's great, and then they can buy it from us if they want, or continue leasing or whatever. But we'll sell dirt too if they want to come in and just build their own thing. We'll do whatever. And then we just bought another 100 acres in Weatherford, Texas, Fort Worth area, and so we'll do the same thing there. We're looking for more properties to do the same.
Are you going to be chopping that 100 acres up into multiple sites, or is
Correct?
and like how would they be kind of laid out? Would it be about 12 acres each, or
Exactly.
something like that?
So we'll do these light industrial buildings, and so we'll do some smaller ones, 10,000 square foot, that we'll lease out if you want to do that, all the way up to, this last building was 138,000 square feet.
Wow.
So think of like an Amazon distribution type building, right?
Okay.
That kind of materials, or light industrial warehouse. If you want an office, we'll build you one inside, 4, 5, 6,000 square feet. Big windows so that you can overlook the whole
operation.
Mm-hmm. Have your whole
Excellent.
operation. So that's typically what we do. And then again, our strategic, I'd say our niche, if you will. What we like to do is not build right in Dallas, because the property is very expensive, and they're going to make you wait 4 or 5 years to permitting to actually build anything. Your investors don't want to wait that long just to ground. But that's what we do. So we're going to find a place, like say 100 acres, do some 5 acres, 10 acres. And a lot of times there are some requirements. You can't do anything like build a bunch of homes in there that are on a 0.2 acre, right? They're going to say anything over 10 acres, we don't care. Do whatever you want. Great.
Yeah.
We plan on doing. So we'll sell 5 acres, 10 acres, 20 acres, 50 acres, whatever works at the time. And whatever the market dictates. Like right now, a lot of people aren't looking to lease. They're like, there's this PPP program that came through with the Trump administration, 100% bonus depreciation. They're like, I'm going to build my own building.
Yeah.
And so it's keeping us from building ourselves to lease, because we know that this is coming right around the corner where people are going to say, hey, I want to take that tax advantage for myself. So let me just buy the dirt and I'll build my own thing. But those are the kind of things that we're looking at.
Yeah, because I imagine if they're building it, then they can take the depreciation running through the business right away. Especially if you're entitling it, and already you've done a lot of the shovel ready stuff before. And then also when you're cutting up into the plots, the land is more valuable and stuff, and you make some gains there. And then you can just, at a certain point, you probably start building your own, and then you've probably made back your whole cost basis for the entire land. So then that's just bonus for your investors and stuff. And that's a very interesting strategy, because the light industrial stuff with everything, the way business is going in Dallas, especially where you guys are, there's so many people moving there, and there's so many businesses starting. And those, are you seeing more like the smaller type, say 1 to 2,000 square foot bays for small business? Are those staying rented pretty easily? Are you seeing stuff like that, or are you just building the larger, like 10,000 square feet?
Yeah, so we don't do anything smaller than 10,000, but I will say those 10,000 square foot, those are typically some of your mom and pop type places, and those are going to be a little bit more risky. They'll sign a 5 to 7 year, 10 year type deal, but it's higher risk for those businesses to go out. Typically,
Yeah.
C is 50,000 square foot and above. You have people coming from California. They're
Oh,
expanding
yeah.
their business, right?
Makes sense.
We're looking for something in the Sun Belt, good weather, middle of the country, that kind of thing. And so they have, let's say, 20, 30 different storefronts or warehouse spaces all over the country, and they're looking for another one. So that's what we want.
Well, and also like Dallas is very strategically located for the rest of the country, and also to build, you have pretty much can build most of the year, and there's not really much days where you can. Where if you go further north, you have those issues with snow and stuff like that. Are you seeing anything with stuff that you're building? You're seeing the rise in steel and aluminum, concrete and stuff. Has that affected your expenses and your bottom line?
Yeah, of course. So we also have a construction company, and so before we just had our land development, we would do everything. We would subcontract that out if our tenants wanted us to do some T&I and things like that. And we said, well, why are we doing that? I mean, they're willing to pay someone 15%.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come in and do it ourselves, and we know we're going to be able to do it right and faster. So we just started our own construction company. We'll do it for 10%. So we do see the increase in steel and those type of things. But it's quite remarkable. We can build a building in like 8 months, 10 months. Think about it. Like
that's
100,000 square foot building, we can build in 8 months. So you come to us and you're like, I want to take advantage of this bonus depreciation thing. What can you help me with? Like, great. Would you buy this 25 acres over here? We'll build you a building. It'll be done in 8 months. That's really hard to do. If you're talking about tilt wall buildings or in certain locations where the permit process is going to be a couple of years or whatever. So it's something really spectacular. It's a good story to tell when someone's really looking to expand. So and that's who else is also doing it. So it's these companies like even in the Metroplex here, where they've been in their buildings, they just need something larger. They want to maybe take some equity out. So maybe their building is paid off and they want to sell that building because it's a good time to sell. Take money and then roll it into something else. Take advantage of some tax advantage, type opportunities. And I'll give you an example. Like people like use cases, right? So there's a company in town called Teasers. They do tea, right? They do brewed tea. It's like in all your 7-Elevens, Quick Trip, all these convenience stores, that kind of thing. And that's exactly what they did. They said, hey, we need a bigger place. They came out to us. They said, hey, we need this size building. Can you do it? Absolutely. We had them up and running in under a year. And now they're into, of all things, boba.
Okay.
You're going to talk to me one day and you're going to be like, whatever happened to that boba? It's getting off topic here, but boba is like super hot right now. The kids love it. Everyone likes to.
Oh, yeah. My kids, they. My one daughter, she likes it. I don't know if she's obsessed with it, but I see some of the kids drinking it every day.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, maybe personally, but they set up this boba like factory, and no one has it here in the United States. And they're going to be able to supply pretty much all these stores. They have a back order for all these major
suppliers
stores that you would recognize. But anyway, that's typically who's buying out in our parks.
Okay, so you're looking at probably these mid-cap businesses that are looking to expand. So I would imagine they just get another line of credit and have you build another one, then they get more depreciation, more write-off there. And plus you're in I would say probably unrestricted area, so you can build really fast. And that's the beauty of Texas and Dallas, especially once you get outside of these areas, because we're finding those benefits with the infill lots, for development and stuff. And we cut them up into, 2 or 3 sections, and then that way you can sell one off and build on the other 2. And they're south of Dallas in the in that Texas Triangle, I-35 corridors and stuff like that, because all of that is less competitive. So I guess it's kind of a similar strategy as what you're doing, and I think that's really kind of proof of just how booming Texas is in general, and just Dallas in general. And you're kind of out of that. Whereas if you're in Houston and stuff, you're in that kind of hurricane belt and stuff like that. And Austin still has some issues where they've built a lot overbuilt, and they're still kind of leveling off, and it'll take a minute, but they'll be back, and especially with Dallas, just so many people moving there. What do you see as far as in the next say the next 5 years with this what you're implementing, this kind of strategy? Do you see it? I would imagine with the accelerated depreciation, I see it probably expanding even further.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're projected to grow. I mean, I hate to put a number on it, but just leaps and bounds. I mean, honestly, because of just all the interest that we're getting right now. And I mean, and you're hearing it already about how a lot of companies are moving,
Hmm.
into the Dallas Fort Worth market. Houston, it is locked up a little bit. I mean, if you think about it, you have, the Gulf, and then
Hmm.
really the place to expand is really just north. But, the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, it just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. There's not any natural borders to kind of control growth,
Yeah,
like in San Diego, for example, and other
yeah,
places. It's going to keep getting bigger. We laugh. We're like, one day Dallas will reach all the way down into Houston, and so we'll just call Houston South Dallas, and then we'll
yeah.
call Oklahoma City up north. Like North Dallas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I noticed a lot of people go to Oklahoma to go to the lakes and stuff up there for like a little weekend getaway because it's only a couple hours away and stuff. And I know a lot of tech is moving there. A lot of a lot of corporate headquarters just because of the strategy. Are you seeing? Because I know I've heard some things. One of the kind of, not, I don't want to say complaints, but one of the setbacks sometimes can be the taxes in Texas because there's no state income tax. So the property tax just seems to creep up a little bit more just because they're going to get it from you one way or the other.
They do. They do. Well, I mean, I would say I would rather have it this way than the other way. So
Yeah.
there's a quick answer to your question.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And by the way, I mean, Elon Musk would be moving here.
yeah. Yeah.
You've heard about Abilene. Abilene is maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours outside the Metroplex, and the
Yeah.
whole AI infrastructure is going in there. $500 billion.
Yeah. $500 billion. Yeah.
And so that's one of them that they're moving it. Yeah. So there
And
must be some good tax advantages of
well, they're getting some good tax abatements and stuff too. And I know Dallas was having some certain counties, and I know you have to check cities, counties, and state the different tax abatements and stuff just to kind of encourage people to build. Because I know there was a big one, Texas Instruments, I believe, in Sherman, Texas. There was a big one up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that as well.
Mhm.
And there's just more than I can mention really in this podcast of all the companies, especially the tech companies, mainly a lot of it too, because they do their research with, the moderate climate and stuff. You don't have it's kind of conducive to those things. So that's really, it's really quite a unique place, Dallas. And plus you have a lot of the financing and stuff, in place in Dallas for that, and you have a lot of money from a lot of other wealthy business tech, oil, and everything else. And people in Dallas have the mindset of building more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's different, quite unique compared to a lot of other places that are not used to the growth. Like we were talking about with the yachts and stuff, there really needs to be a cultural shift for that big boom to really open up and happen. I see it a lot in Florida because people aren't used. South Florida kind of exploded, and it kind of the cultural shift kind of overwhelmed everyone.
Exactly.
Well, this has been really great. I really appreciate you sharing your multiple facet business and what your journey getting to the real estate and as a yacht owner and everything. But if people want to find out more about you and what you're doing and connect with you, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, if it's anything yachting related in crew, meridiango.com, or you can just email me at Gary Kyle, GarryKyle at verizon.net. So that's the best way.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me and sharing your story and your journey. And I'm sure we'll be talking more later and see where the journey. Especially, I'm eager to hear more about your real estate journey and this next crew roll out this next potential app here.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks for having me on, Scott.
I appreciate it, Gary. And this is Scott Kidd, the Yacht Captain Investor Podcast. And just a reminder that the best investment you can make is the investment you make in yourself. See you guys next time. Thank you.